recording?
Yep.
And hit the stream button here. Now I gotta find the stream button over here. Okay, and going live in 3, 2, 1. And we're live here on Facebook. I'd like to welcome those listening in podcast land and also my buddy Rich. Rich, how you doing today?
Doing good, Mike. So, yeah, not really much this year. Just another normal week. Yeah, it's nice talking with you on a Thursday for once. I think this is our first ever Thursday show.
I think we've done one other Thursday show, but I don't think
one other one.
I think we've done one early on. But yeah, we had to do a Thursday show. We are going out of town, me and my wife, to celebrate my father-in-law's birthday, and give him a big gift, which you will find out about next week. If you're a regular follower of the podcast, we'll share the beans next week, as it were. But yeah, so just didn't want Rich to have to do 2 out of 3 shows by himself, and really, I think last week's felt like you basically carried the show, Rich. I have to apologize. Like, looking back on it, I don't remember half of what I said, and I think I like, I'm sorry, but I think I fell asleep a couple times. I don't know if you noticed it at all.
No, I didn't notice it.
Man.
If you did.
Last week I was dead. Yeah, so quick shout out and get better to my father. So last Thursday, he and I went to a concert to see Eric Clapton. On our way, we got home. He said he was feeling a little off, but not terrible. And then the next day, he drove home and had to take 3 naps at rest stops.
Wow.
And then got home and was not doing well, and was having some chest pains, and they thought it was a heart attack. Turned out he has COVID.
Ooh.
Now I tested Monday. I'm testing tonight before bed, and then I'll test again tomorrow. But I have been testing, and I tested another time in there. Tested 3 times this week already. Whatever. Anyway, in testing, I have tested negative every time, so I'm okay. But
good.
But it's a little rough. But that plus being at work at 7:30 in the morning after getting home at 2:30, then being at work all day and all night and being there until 9 o'clock at night to come home and do the show, I was dead. So thank you for helping carry that show last week. Oh, Rich, and being flexible for today. We have lots to do this week. Rich, we have, it is almost the end of the Cubs season. Maybe? We'll talk about that and more. Along with, you know what? I have a big update. I have lots of stuff to talk about. Esports season for esports for the fall season has started. We're going to give you an update on that, and we have recap / preparing for Masked Singer season. Rich, what else do we got?
Well, we got to go in the NASCAR corner and give you an update on the NASCAR playoffs, as we had 3 drivers eliminated last week. And we're also going to look at the NFL to give you how our picks did in week number 2 and give you our picks for week 3. But Mike, what do we got to do first, bud?
We got to roll the intro. Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich. could have done that all day. Okay. And we're back. With that, let's, as we always do, we are coming, by the way, not only the end of the Cub season, but the end of our. Rich, have you done the math how long we've been doing this series?
No, I'm sorry, I haven't.
Okay. But we're coming to the.
I don't remember when we started.
We are in the final 2 weeks. We're getting ready to start the last week of Jock Jam Stadium Series, whatever we're calling this one, poll questions.
Yeah.
This last week we did Whoop There It Is versus We Will Rock You. Rich, how did you vote?
I voted for Whoop There It Is. And I'm not sure if you listened to or caught some of the show that I did solo when We Will Rock You won their matchup to get into this. And for me, I guess I gotta be in a mood to hear Queen. And most of the time I know it's controversial. I know you probably don't want to hear it, but for me, I just don't. When I hear "We Will Rock You," and then automatically the next song on the radio is every single time without fail is "We Are the Champions." I just don't like the back.
It's a combo song.
Play of it. Yeah.
It's a combo song. But
So
in stadiums,
I went with the song that you. I guess I went with more of a recency bias with There It Is.
Okay. Well, you and Jordan the Stroop, Mr. Jordan Stroop, agreed. And Rich, you guys voted for that, and that was 2 votes. Your wife, your brother-in-law, and I all voted for We Will Rock You. Queen takes the W. You are defeated. Whoop, there it is.
Yeah, but by all means, and I was expecting those results.
No.
So it doesn't surprise me anyway that We Will Rock You gets a bronze medal in our little poll.
So just a heads up, and this is not, and I don't know why. Your solo is apparently a Facebook exclusive, and it's apparently was runtime only. Can't find it anywhere.
Oh. Okay.
So I apologize for that. I tried to watch it this week, and because I was trying to, I have the so my coworker was sick a couple days, and then she had her daughter had a baby today, and so we were like what? And so she hasn't been around, and so I've had the office to myself, so I could listen to whatever I wanted. So I was listening to podcasts and stuff, and so I could have potentially listened to your podcast, which is what I was planning on doing. And then I can't find it, so I'm going to continue to dig. If I can find it, it'll be one of those random ones that drops midweek. As you saw, yesterday was when I ended up getting last week's show up, and I hopefully I can get this one up immediately today. I plan to, actually. But with that being said, tell the folks and let's wait till Saturday. Let's wait till the normal Saturday. And okay. I will even give you, if because of this podcast people decide that they need to get onto our page and vote, and they continue to vote, and We Will Rock You loses, we can revisit the poll question next week and give them what the final results were.
Okay, so this week's the gold medal. Welcome to the Jungle and Sweet Caroline.
And this one, I like. It's close, but not. I don't think it really is.
I don't think it's going to be a close one. I know where I'm voting. I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to be in the minority on this one, but I'll be in the minority for it. So, okay. But we've been surprised by results before.
We have. I've been shocked. I know where I'm voting, and I know where at least one other fan of the show will be voting. I don't know where everybody else will land.
All right, Mike. So the title of the show was "What's Going On,"
Yeah,
And one of those things where we got to talk about is what's going on. It's the Chicago Cubs.
man, how are we getting split with the Pirates?
Because we're not counting tonight's game.
We're
That's
not,
that's still ongoing.
and
And you
then
split with Arizona from show to show. But if you consider the body of work, what
right,
happened the 2 days before the show, it was we lost 3 out of 4 with Arizona.
right. No, we got swept by Arizona show to show.
Oh yeah, yeah, swept. So
So
we
it's
got one of
only
those
if you
games
go
in
out
Arizona.
past the show, it's yeah, we got swept in Arizona. That's the man.
Well, I think I can excuse the losses with Arizona.
Maybe, but
Mainly because you know what, that when you're going up against another team that's fighting for a playoff spot and another good playoff contending team, those losses can happen. But for me, it's the losses against Pittsburgh and Colorado that have
yeah,
really stung me. Those are games that you need to win when
you
you're coming down the
have to win
stretch
those
fighting
games.
for a spot, and we just haven't been able to come through.
Nope. It's been rough. We're gonna need to see better play out of our guys, and man, I'm nervous to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean I don't know. I mean, I was really the lineup construction has been one thing that's kind of had me scratching my head. How do you have a rookie that has a 5 RBI night to include a grand slam, and then he's riding the bench the next 2 days?
Yeah, I
Because I
Joe
mean, I know
or
that they're not.
Grandpa
To,
Ross has made some questionable decisions all year round, and I've actually called it out on the show.
mhm.
I have. Go back, listen. If you don't believe me, back category galore to say that I don't agree. I have never agreed with Grandpa Ross. First, I didn't like Grandpa Ross being brought in the first place. I thought Joe Madden deserved to keep the course. Tell me I'm wrong if I'm wrong, Rich. You were
No,
there.
no. I think you
I hated that
give it
decision.
give him a little bit more time.
Second, moreover, I've never liked Grandpa Ross as a manager. Never thought he'd be great. I didn't think he would. I've also said from the beginning, he will not take the team the next step that they need to go. He had a team this year that could have done that. Now, I also have said this is not the year the Cubs are going to do anything. Next year feels like the year that they're going to be doing things. The year after feels like the year they're going to be doing things. But Joe's decision, or but Ross's decision making, I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, for me right now, it just seems like third base has been a hole. Candelario went down with an injury,
Yep.
and he's trotting out Miles Mastrobuoni. Miles Mastrobuoni out there the past couple of nights because Nick Madrigal's also on the IR.
Yeah.
Christopher Morel, give Christopher Morel a glove and tell him to go out there and play third base. He's played third base before.
Yep.
It keeps his bat in the lineup, and then that opens up a spot in the batting order to maybe get one of those rookies like Bro Armstrong or Canario in the lineup to see if that rookie bat that nobody has tape on can maybe light a spark, put a spark in there. But he seems to be wanting to play the veterans that got him there instead of maybe inserting a rookie
And
to see if they can spark something.
and by all means, they're veterans. I mean, if you look at the history of the game, baseball is littered with veterans winning championships.
But when your team is struggling, you got to try something different,
That's the key. Yep. And
and that's not being done right now.
that hasn't been done. And so I don't want to say it's a puppet. He's a puppet, but I also know that he's not really doing much to prove he's not. I got a hard time with it. I'm not sure where to go with it.
But yeah, I mean, we'll wait until they've officially been eliminated to start talking about, well, what went right, what went wrong, and what we would like to see them, what changes we would like to see in the off season. Because right now,
And I'm going to be a season ticket holder next year, Rich. Most likely, yeah. We are 95% the way there.
yeah,
I'm going to be a season ticket holder next year.
mm-hmm.
I have a say in this stuff, right? Like they're answering to me, the season ticket holders, before they answer to guys that go once or twice that pay for 1 or 2 tickets a year. So, yeah, I don't know. I like the team. I like the makeup. I think they've done a great job of putting a mix of veterans and rookies, especially right now. That expanded roster looks great. Like, how do you not get excited about it? You know how? Get swept by the Diamondbacks.
But the Diamondbacks are a good team contending.
Okay.
Granted, you had a 4-game lead before you started that series. You had a 4-game lead.
Yeah.
And they came to Wrigley. And through splitting and getting swept, playing them in Chicago and Arizona, now you're a game and a half in back of them in the standings.
Yeah.
For the second wild card.
The second wild card, by the way. And aren't we tied with the Reds? I don't know I don't know right now. I didn't see what today did, but
I got this up.
Okay.
I got it up right now. Pending, without factoring in tonight's game, we have a half a game lead on Miami for the third wild card. Pending the results of tonight's game.
So essentially, we could be tied.
Yeah, right now, top of the ninth, it's 5-4 Pittsburgh. So if we win tonight, we've got a full game lead over Miami and a game and a half above the Reds. If we lose, we're tied with Miami for the third wild card, and Miami holds the tiebreaker due to tiebreakers now being decided by the regular season record, head-to-head record. There is no longer a one-game winner-take-all tiebreaker game to decide tiebreakers. It's all done on in-season records.
Which basically puts us half a game up on Cincinnati.
Yep, and it'd be a half game up on Cincinnati if we can't complete the comeback. And Cincinnati also owns the tiebreaker against the Cubs. So if the Cubs are going to have to get in it, they're either going to have to win ball games or hope that Miami and Cincinnati don't play up. Also can't win games if they're going to make the playoffs.
By the way, I will go on record in saying if the playoffs were right now, everybody wants to play the Cubs. The complete opposite I said a month ago. A month ago, nobody wanted to play the Cubs. The Cubs were the team. Right now, everybody's like, okay, well, Cubs are coming in town. That's an easy game. That's an easy series. We're good. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so far it's almost last week I was saying, you know what, they're in a little bit of a rough stretch.
Yeah.
Now the ship is taking on water.
Yeah.
Is there enough time to patch the holes and right the ship, or is it going to keep going down, or are they going to go completely underwater and fall out of the playoff picture because of how they're playing right now?
I will argue, and again, yeah, I'll argue by the time we get to Atlanta coming into town, there very well could be Atlanta could be resting their team.
They could be. And Milwaukee is going to be resting their team.
Yep.
They're going to be setting up their rotation for the wild card matchup, possibly against these Cubs.
Yeah. Yep. So, and by the way, if Milwaukee were smart, as of right now, you almost let the Cubs win that series, don't you? Because then you're playing the Cubs with home field advantage. Now, granted, Milwaukee isn't much of a home field advantage for when the Cubs come to town, but you have owned the Cubs this year. You have more tape on them than anybody, more experience with them than anybody. Wouldn't you prefer again, the Reds have actually been playing kind of hot recently. The Miami Marlins, they're playing pretty well.
Yeah, over the last 10 games, the Cubs are 3-7, the Fish are 5-5, and the Reds are 6-4.
Yeah.
Over the last 10 games.
Yeah. If this trend continues, by the way, if this trend continues, it doesn't matter because the Cubs will be so far out of it. We'll be resting our guys at that point.
Yeah, because some of these young pitchers, Justin Steele, Jordan Wicks, Javier Assad, I know they've got to be getting really close to reaching career levels for innings pitched.
Yeah. So here's a question for you. At what point do the Cubs say we're truly out of contention? Steele needs some time off. Assad, maybe we're not going to use him here and there. Like, at what point do we let these guys? Do we rest guys? Because we know that. I mean, again, when you look, and I hate doing this, but if you start to look at analytics tell you that the Cubs should be these guys should start resting. You don't want to throw these guys out there that hard, because once you get to a certain point in innings pitched for a year, your next year suffers because of it a lot of times. At what point do we start looking at resting guys?
I don't think they'll start having those discussions, or you'll see that trend until they've dropped out. If they go into the Milwaukee series either in a playoff spot or within a game, I think that they're going to go for it.
Let's say the Rockies sweep us, right? So it's 4 games against the Rockies, or 3 games against the Rockies. Let's say the Rockies sweep us, and the Marlins. Let's say they keep winning. Now we're sitting 3 games. We're sitting 3 games back, right? Theoretically, with 5 to go. Okay, let's say we lose one of the Atlanta ones.
Yeah, if we go into Atlanta on a 4-game losing streak, and I think it all depends on what happens by the time we get to Atlanta.
If we
see how many games are back.
If we're back 4 games going into the Atlanta game, that first one, and I haven't looked at it, but let's say Steele is the one slated to take the mound.
Right now, Steele is slated to go. I believe they have him going in one of the Atlanta games.
Okay, let's say that it's the first Atlanta game, just for grins and giggles, right? It's
okay.
If it's the first game, they're down 4 games overall, or they're down essentially 4 games overall versus the Marlins. They only have 5 games or 6 games left. Your management, your ownership, you're the leadership. Do you tell them, hey, let's not put Justin out there, or let's have a quick leash on Justin because we don't want him to pitch too much?
I think you almost got to do a quick leash, because if you're still in it by the time you get to Atlanta, if you're in that 3rd wild card spot and you have Steele pitching Tuesday in Atlanta.
But what if you're down 3 games? going
Or
into
if you're
that game.
down 3, I think you adjust the rotation and you give them a couple extra days of rest.
Right.
Because the only
And then
thing
you give them
right
a
now
couple extra
that's
days of rest, and then now you're completely eliminated. Now do you just sit him down for the rest of the season?
yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
with Steele, I think probably. I don't like where they're at right now. I have the recipe: win games.
And that's exactly what they need to do is win games. So Mike, speaking of winning games, they have 3 against the Rockies to wrap up the home season schedule at Wrigley Field.
Yep.
And then they're going down to Atlanta for 3 games during the week. And then they're going up to Milwaukee, Wrigley Field North for a Friday night game. I think we might end up dropping that one if we record on Friday night. That game might not be final yet.
I'm gonna commit to Saturday morning as long as you can. Unless you have a reason not to do Saturday morning that week, I'm looking forward back to my cup of coffee and talking sports.
I think we can do that. So 7 games.
7 games. They have to win 4. If they don't win 4 of these games, sit them all. Put all the rookies out there. Start it with an extended. If they don't win 4 games, those last 2 games in Milwaukee better be expansion roster guys pretty much exclusively. You don't leave every rookie in you can. Do it. We don't need any of the rest. We're done. If we don't win 4 games at minimum.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 4 as well. I'm leaning toward the way they're playing right now. I'm almost leaning towards
2.
I'd like to give a 2 or a 3, but I'm gonna go with what they need to get, not what they probably will get. So I'll go 4 as well.
Okay, Rich, we also, speaking of baseball, we have a special announcement. As we always do, we'd like to do a playoff preview before the series starts. So we will, Tuesday, October 2nd, look for a Tuesday evening, probably around 9 o'clock is what I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at a Tuesday at the 2nd at around 2 o'clock. No, it'd be Wednesday. It'd be the 3rd. It's the 3rd, Rich. Because the 1st is a Sunday. It's the 3rd. Anyway, Tuesday.
Yeah, it would be the 3rd. Or
Tuesday the 3rd.
Monday or Tuesday. Sometime before the playoffs start on Wednesday the 4th.
And this is going to be an exclusive baseball only.
Yep. All we'll be doing on this episode is going through the playoff, going through the bracket, because all the teams will be finalized by that time, and we'll be looking back about how our predictions did from what we said at the beginning of the season, and we'll give an updated pre-postseason ALCS, NLCS, and World Series. Because we already know that the teams that we predicted aren't going to be there.
No, we did terrible this year. We'll also give you a snippet of our feeling towards the Cubs.
Yep, but just baseball. You won't get any for that episode. There will be no NASCAR or NFL, just baseball.
And we're not going to give you a full rundown. Like we'll see how that night goes, how that night looks. We probably won't do a full. It'll probably be like a 20-minute episode instead of a full hour long. But we'll cross the bridges when we get there, and we'll see what we have to talk about later in the week. Maybe if some big sports thing comes up, like Tua breaks his neck again or something. I don't know. Okay, with that, Rich, let's keep going in making left turns. And do you see what's coming up?
Mike, is it a left-hand turn?
It is. And after that?
It's another left-hand turn.
And why is that, Rich?
Well, Mike, because we're going to go into the NASCAR Corner presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. Check them out in Moline, Illinois, down on 5th Avenue, or you can find them on eBay. Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. So, Mike, last week we were in Bristol for the Bass Pro Shops night race.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually do remember I did get to watch some of this. I did. Yeah, I did.
I watched the race too, and a little disappointed, a little maybe a little bit of frustration with the two straight rain delays, but we
Yeah.
they got the race in. We got to watch the race. So I it was good. Your guy Denny Hamlin wins the race.
Yeah.
Was your race
Not when I
winner?
needed him to. But I love seeing Denny win, so I'm okay with that. By the way, the best line this year in NASCAR. For some reason, Denny Hamlin has become someone everybody hates. I don't know why. I find it a little weird. I like the guy, but whatever. You guys, I'm not here to argue that. But he was getting quite booed.
He was.
And he gets on the mic and he says, "All your favorite drivers? Yeah, I beat them. All of them." Mic drop right there, bro. Like, what else is there to say?
Yeah, and didn't he was kind of cocky with the pre-race introductions too? Because I guess with the Bristol night race, the drivers introduced themselves,
Oh, okay.
and he comes out to the mic and he just says, "You know," and keeps walking.
I didn't see that. But
Yeah.
we started right as they were taking off, and then they pulled it into the pits before they started the race. That section there, that's where we got to. We didn't see the driver introductions, but man,
I didn't either. It was something that was played. I saw the highlight of it afterwards, after they had talked about it. All right, Mike. So on the playoff side, you picked Kevin Harvick, who finished 29th. My pick of Chris Buescher came in 4th.
yeah.
Tell them how the non-playoff drivers did, Mike.
With the non-playoff drivers, my pick of Chase Elliott finished 7th. Eric Amarola finished 18th. Rich, that means in the playoffs, I am 4-2 overall.
Yeah, for the playoffs. Overall standings, it's 20-17. Me.
Yep. Okay. With this week, we have just started the second round of playoffs. So, we've eliminated 4 drivers from the playoff standings. Rich, who were those 4 drivers?
Getting eliminated were defending Cup Series champion Joey Logano, the retiring Kevin Harvick, and then 2 guys that probably were surprise playoff entries due to race wins: Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Michael McDowell.
Yeah.
So your playoff drivers right now, the 4 that are sitting below the cut line with this next round of playoffs are Bubba Wallace, Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, and my championship pick, and my kind of favorite driver, Ross Chastain.
Above the line, you have Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch, Chris Buescher, Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., and William Byron.
Yes, well, for this round of the playoffs, we'll see the cars going to Texas, the Charlotte Roval, and Talladega. So 3 very different race tracks.
Yep.
Probably what is Dallas more of a tri-oval or just
a so oval? It's a traditional tri. It's more of a traditional style tri-oval.
Yep.
So
the Roval obviously being a road course.
Yep. With a oval. Yeah, and those I actually like those. Because at times you get the super high speeds of the banks, but then you also get the technical aspects. Like, for NASCAR drivers, you get their ultimate skill. The ultimate skill in NASCAR is not driving. It is turning left in high banks on cars that really, I mean, they're just giant power horse engines, rear wheel drive, very little in suspension. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't come at me, all you reply guys, all you guys out there. I get it. There is, like, they have tools with the suspension they can do, But in general, the suspension is not designed for left and right turns. These cars are designed to do one thing and one thing really well, and that's high banks and turning left. And that's it. And so when we start seeing these cars in the Rovals, you get that highly technical stuff. You see guys like your Eric Almirolas. You see your road, quote unquote road course ringers come in and be able to throw the like in actual road courses. You see those guys throwing those cars around, using their car control to do amazing things and make the regular NASCAR guys not look so great. But the best part about the Roval is that in the middle part where you're going through the ziggity zaggity stuff inside the road course part of it, those guys get a bit of a lead. But then on the back stretch, you come up and you slide in, and it's pedal to the metal and high banks and turning left. And your guys that are traditional NASCAR guys, those guys come in, and don't get me wrong, they can throw a car left and right, but that's where they shine. And the Roval is one of those places, especially the Charlotte Roval. I can't wait to see Von Ginsberg race at the Charlotte Roval. Because and by then he'll have enough built up stuff that he'll be good at the high bank stuff. But his best tricks, his best skills are road courses. That's why he won. But once he gets on those high banks, look out for your traditionalists. So, just something to think about. Sorry, that's what next week or 2 weeks away.
Yeah, that's next week, Mike. So save some for next week.
Okay.
To talk about the Roval, and then of course you have the unpredictable super speedway of Talladega for the.
I want to go fast.
Race. All right, Mike. So this week they are in Dallas. You've been to Dallas.
Love that track.
Texas Motor Speedway.
Love that. That is a place that I would go back to, as much as anything, because the camping is amazing. They take care of you there. Rich, if you're going camping somewhere, can I please recommend go down? Like, I know it's an extra 5 hours, 8 hours after Kansas City, but honestly, totally worth it. If you're tent camping, they have it right next to the bathroom area. Not like so that you could smell it, but so it's not that far to walk. And then when you get it, they have showers, and it's nice, and it's clean, and they do a great job of making sure it gets cleaned up. Highly recommend.
All right, Mike. So my playoff driver finished ahead of yours. So with my pick for a playoff driver, I'm going to go with Tyler Reddick.
Okay.
So Reddick's had a good track record at the track. He's won this race before. He's finished runner-up. He's finished 9th, and he's finished 15th. So I like my chances with Tyler Reddick.
Yeah.
Down in the Big D.
That is a good that's a good pick. Let me think. Because I was going to go, I had a different guy.
Okay.
I'd originally picked Ryan Truex Jr., which I really do like that as a pick.
Who are you going to change to, Mike? You have the ability to change if you so choose.
I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with Martin Truex Jr. But I do reserve the right to say I should have changed it. And my secondary, and it doesn't count for anything, Ryan Blaney. Look out for him.
Who do you want? It's
Martin Truex Jr. No, I'm picking Martin Truex Jr. But look out for Ryan Blaney. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
I like Ryan Blaney at this track too. I contemplated picking him as well. both Reddick. Blaney's going to be in my fantasy lineup.
Yeah,
So he's got a good
100%.
track record down in Dallas too. Mike, who is your non-playoff driver?
I'm gonna go with the guy I picked last week as my playoff driver. He's got nothing to lose. What does Kevin Harvick have to lose right now, Rich?
Nothing. He just wants to put on a good show for his fans.
He can spin out Ross Chastain, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin. He could spin out he could spin out every driver on that track this week. And what's NASCAR gonna do? You got to sit for the rest of the season. Okay.
No, they wouldn't want that. That'd be a PR nightmare.
Right. The man has nothing to lose. When you have nothing to lose, you have everything to put it all on the line. And why not? Look out for Kevin Harvick.
All right. I don't know if the guy. I was impressed with the driver that I'm going to pick last week at Bristol, so I'm going to go with him again because I'm just not sure who to pick for a non-playoff driver. So I'm going to go with a rookie that's filling in at Legacy Motorsports and go with Carson Hochhauser.
I like that pick. Rich, take us out.
All right, so that was the NASCAR Corner presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. Find them on eBay or go down and visit them in person at Fifth Avenue in Moline. So, Mike, let's go from the concrete over to the gridiron, Mike. So, Mike, let's go ahead and start with the locks of the week. How do we do?
Well, Rich, your lock of the week, you picked the Saints over the Panthers, and those Saints pulled it off 20-17. I picked the Cowboys over the Jets, and sure enough, the Cowboys are looking good. Look out for them this year. They are hot. Rich, we picked some upset specials. How'd they go?
Well, Mike, I picked the Falcons over the Packers, and they pulled it off with a last-second field goal, 25-24 Falcons, improving my mark to 2-0. Mike, you picked the Commanders over the Broncos, and that was another close game.
Yeah.
As it came down to the Broncos needing to execute a 2-point conversion to win, the game, to send it into overtime, and the Commanders held up.
I mean, I'm not going to
stop the 2-point conversion, and it was 35-33 Commanders.
I'm not going to turn down that pick, that win, but that was definitely pass interference in the end zone there.
All right, and then the Bears.
Yep.
The Bears, they lost 27-17. So, Mike, we are both 0-2 in picking the Bears this week. I got a feeling that's going to change next week.
I think we're gonna get one on the correct pick side this week.
I think so too. So, Mike, we got to talk about what's going on with the Bears. Their defensive coordinator resigned. He did.
So he had not been with the team since the beginning of the year, basically.
Yeah, he made the trip down. He was with the team for week 1, but did not make the trip down to Tampa.
Right.
And
right.
he resigned due to to take care of a medical issue.
Health and family issues, I guess. We'll see. I'm sure something more will come out of that. We'll find out more. Man, that puts Matt Eberflus in a tough spot. He is now forced to take the defense on, which not a terrible thing, but he needs to find somebody quick to take on those duties, as he has a quarterback that he needs to rein in. And in fact, Justin Fields made some comments this week. Speaking of what's going on, Justin Fields made comments yesterday in pre-practice press conference, where after the meetings but before the press conference or before practice, he basically went out and said, I will do my best to summarize the entire T, not just cut and pick and choose. So he said he was playing robotic, and he's been too in his own head this week, or these last few games, and he's just not playing like himself. He's not letting his natural abilities and instincts take over and help him win these games. And with doing that, he just needs to stop doing that. And a reporter, as any reporter should and did do, said, what's causing that? His first statement immediately was, maybe it's coaching. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. But people jumped onto the bandwagon because it was the first thing out of his mouth. Coaching. Then Matt Eberflus had his, and upon basically gets thrown out to the Wolves right as he's finding out what was said. Does a great job of saying, well, we appreciate his feedback. We need to take it. We need to do everything we can to work with him to make him feel comfortable and get him playing better. Then immediately after practice is over, Justin Fields says, "Hey guys, I gotta say something. Can we get everybody over here? We need to get everybody over here."
I got to backpedal. Let that statement back.
I'm not blaming anybody. In fact, if anything goes wrong on the field, you know whose fault it is? It's mine. That's word for word what he said. I don't care if it's a dropped pass that somebody should have caught. That's on me. Blame me. I'm not blaming anybody else. I blame everything on me. Rich, tell me what's going on.
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to say that I know what's going on with the Bears, but due to other things going on, doing other things on Sunday, I haven't had a chance to watch a Bears game yet.
I watched this Bears game.
So, I mean, is it not playing like himself? Are the Bears trying to make Justin Fields a pocket passer when he's not a pocket passer?
That's one of the big things. They're telling him to stay in the pocket.
Don't run.
Now, there is some truth. We've said it on our show that he needs to learn when to be a pocket passer and when to run. Now, his first instinct is to just always run. And you know what? That instinct is going to help him out a lot because our offensive line looks like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Hot garbage. Flaming piles of dookie hot garbage. Rich, I thought we improved our offensive line this offseason.
I thought we did too.
I thought we did work
yeah.
to make it a better team, and we got him some wide receiver help.
The guys had 121 total receiving yards through these first two games.
We're throwing screen passes because our offensive line can't. We threw 3 screen passes in one drive. They broke up 2 of them. Or they broke up 1 of them. Last play of the game. To put us into any sort of contention, basically. The last offensive play of the game. What play should we run, Rich? You're wrong. It's not a screen pass, but that's what they did anyway.
Yeah. So when I get a chance to watch a Bears game soon to see the issues, see what this offense looks like, rather than reading the box scores or looking at what Justin Fields did from a fantasy perspective. But either way, whether you're looking at it from actual what they actually did in the game or from a fantasy perspective, it's not looking good to have any. I don't know if you would want to start any Bears on a fantasy roster, on a fantasy lineup right now with the way that they're playing. And that's tough.
Interception, by the way. That's how that ended.
All right, Mike.
So what's the answer?
Anything else you want to touch on the Bears before we move on to week 3?
I want to say, number 1, Justin Fields is wrong. The answer is not him getting out of it. It's not 100% him getting out of his own head and just playing by instinct. We've watched that play out. And how did that work out for RG3?
Not too well.
How's that worked out for 99% of quarterbacks whose first instinct is to run around and extend the play? Not great.
Not the best. Lamar Jackson is constantly in and out of the lineup.
Yeah. But the answer is not making Justin Fields a pocket quarterback. It's to design plays, to use his abilities to make him better. And, by the way, we need to improve that offensive line because that's hot garbage. Okay, let's move on from there. Let's talk week 3. Thursday night football is happening right now. The Giants and the Niners. We will give you that what that outcome is. We both picked the Niners last week. I solidly haven't even looked at any scoreboards yet, and I solidly think that the Niners are probably up 175-2.
Not quite. It's 23-12 in the fourth quarter with 12:45 to go.
So it looks like we're going to be right on that one, but we'll wait till next week to make that call.
We will. All right, Mike, lock of the week. It's an odd week, Mike, so you have the first choice. Who are you going to go with as your lock of the week?
You know, last week I picked the Commanders to be an upset, but this week they're going against the Bills. And the Bills don't look like 100% of the Bills of the past, but they are definitely better than the Commanders. Them Bills going to win.
All right, yep. I like that pick. I'm going to take it even more of a solid slam dunk. And I'm going to go with the Cowboys over the Cardinals.
By the way, neither one of these pales into comparison as to our most lockiest lock of the week on a game that we both pick. We'll talk about that in a second.
Exactly. I mean, but on the Cardinals side, how are you up 20-0 at the half
against a terrible team as the Giants?
And then you end up losing. It's almost like it was like, oh crap.
We can't. Hey guys, if you win, we don't get number 1 and number 2 overall. Come on now. We can't do this.
That's exactly what it feels like. Well, hey, we want to play well enough to where it doesn't look like we're trying to lose, but we're playing too good right now.
Yeah,
we're playing too good, and the Giants had a big comeback victory.
Yep.
So I don't think they want to win this game, and the Cowboys are looking like the team to beat right now in the NFC with the way that defense is playing. All right, Mike, who are you putting on upset alert?
You know, and I'm surprised it's considered an upset. And I know that it's because Jordan Love has been playing well, but I don't know that that's going to keep up. Jordan Love is leading the Packers. He still lost last week. The Saints actually look like they understand what they're doing. So I'm going to go with the Saints.
I like that pick. The game's in Green Bay, which is probably what's getting why it's not tipped the other way.
Yeah.
But the Saints are also playing really good defense.
Yep.
For my upset of the week, only because they are struggling right now, I'm going to go with the Rams over the Bengals. Joe Burrow is struggling with a calf
terrible
injury.
For me.
Joe Burrow is, there's talk that, do you rest Joe Burrow? Do you protect Joe Burrow from himself to get you ready for a playoff stretch?
Probably a good idea.
Healthy for the playoffs. And the Rams, even without their best player, Cooper Kupp, have still looked competitive in games.
Yeah, I like that as an upset. I'm actually surprised that line hasn't been moved to make it to make that more of a either a pick'em or a full-on Rams. But we don't go off the gambling line, so maybe we'll check that out later. Rich, the Bears, I know we just got done talking about how terrible they are and what the heck is going on there in Chicago, but we got to make a pick. Bears are coming up against the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. Got any hope?
No, not at all.
Is there any game this week that you think is more of a lock than the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Bears?
Cowboys, Cardinals.
Yeah,
Cardinals don't want to win a football game.
That would be the closest thing I could come up with, and even that, man, you would think that Kyler Murray would actually play better because he doesn't want them to be able to draft his replacement.
Well, it's kind of hard for him to play better when he's on the IR.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So
he's on the IR. Kyler Murray has no control over what's going on.
Yep. Okay.
Well, yeah, there's no way it's going to take Patrick Mahomes going down with an injury for it, and I think even their backup quarterback Blaine Gabbert could probably do well enough to get them to a victory with Andy Reid calling the plays.
100%. Okay, Thursday Night Football next week, a week from today, you're going to see the Lions play the Packers. Man, it's a division game. I hate picking division games in general because they tend to be crazy. Where are they at, Rich?
I believe because I put the...
It looks like the way you have it would be in Kansas City.
The game is in Green Bay, so the Lions are going up to Green Bay.
Okay. Over, up, kind of, yeah. Yeah, I still don't think that's going to make much of a difference. The Lions have been good this year. They've been the best team in the division so far. So I'm a jump on the Lions bandwagon for at least next week. Lions beat the Packers.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Lions as well. If this game was in December, when Jared Goff doesn't play well in the cold weather, I'd say go with the Packers. But it's still warm in Green Bay, so I don't think being out in the elements is going to affect Jared Goff very well.
Okay.
Very much. So I'll go with the Lions.
Rich, I did look, and I actually have a concept of where my top 10 and my bottom 5 are for the power rankings. But let's put it on hold. Let's get a full 3 weeks of games in. Get a full slate of 3 weeks worth of games in. That way our ELO has time to kind of look at it. And then on top of it, just in general, we get... The first week is never a great showing for what's going on, and then the second week gives you a little bit of an idea. That third week is that solid week. So we'll give you the power rankings next week. We'll also have a little bit more time to play with, as it'll be a Saturday morning, and we can take a little bit more time on the show. Rich, Masked Singer happened this last week, the week before. It was one of their stupid preview shows. They only had one contestant that showed up for it. So guess who got? They had the mouse, but they were calling it the Autonomouse. Anonymous, yeah. Okay. So who do you think should have been eliminated, Rich? Yep, the only one doing it, the Anonymous.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the only one to get unmasked. Like, if you're gonna do it as if it's a real unmasking, at least have somebody else that beat him. Because I like the competition. I like comparing whose voice is better than the other. Not, well, this person's getting eliminated this week. Let's go through a whole season where. Here's my theory, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that she was the one that couldn't do it. What was it, last year or the year before? And they brought in all those last minute people. Do you remember that last season?
I think they had somebody come in where they had the reshuffled what would have been the normal lineup.
Right, because somebody dropped out at the last minute. I'm guessing it was Demi Lovato, and they were like, she's like, I really want to do the show, and they're like, well, we're not going to put you in a regular show because you dropped out last minute last year. So we'll put you in as our special for this, and we'll use all the things that we put together for you last season. You can have all that stuff, but you're going to be by yourself and you're going to get eliminated right away. That's my guess on what happened.
Yeah, it's not a bad theory. Um, yeah,
Oh yeah, it was
it
Demi
was.
Lovato, by the way.
Yeah, it was disappointing to see the show how they did the show because it isn't even like they recycled all their stuff of the here's our top five. Let's count down our top five
Yeah,
performances from the previous 9 seasons. That was a recycled clip show
that we had
that they
last
already
year,
aired.
the year
I think
before.
so.
I mean, I agreed with the picks, but yeah, it was nice to see uh, Nicole Scherzinger's triat with Dingamajig and
The Rhino.
the Rhino. That was
Yeah.
good, and
Barry Zito
man,
and Victor Oladipo.
Oladipo, I just that man's impressive. I'm not even mad. I'm impressed.
Hmm.
Said it when he was on there. Okay. Anything else with Matt Singer you want to talk about?
I don't. So next
Oh
week,
yeah,
make
spoiler
sure
alert. We
make
forgot to give you that.
yeah, make sure to watch. Make sure the season starts next week. So make sure before we go
Oh,
on
it
the air
starts Friday,
Saturday
Saturday though, right?
well, I put that's
Oh,
when the
oh
recap
yeah,
would
yeah,
be
yeah.
because we would be recording the show
Yeah, we'll
Wednesday.
watch it. We'll watch it.
Wednesday, make sure to watch it before we go on air on Saturday.
I
So,
got like
Mike,
4 or 5 different places to watch it now. So
yeah, all right, Mike. Esports, what's
esports,
going on?
yeah. So become a head coach. They said it'll be fun. They said I had to go to a booster club meeting yesterday.
Okay.
Um, I didn't realize that was part of the gig, but it makes sense. The Booster Club donates to us; they provide stuff for us. Um, I was not expecting it, and I didn't know what to expect. In our high school, the Booster Clubs were these business owners and bigwigs and blah blah blah, and so I kind of hyped it up to myself and was a little nervous. It turns out they were just people. We hung out. And then open forum turned into they always do an update for the coaches, and so I had to
Mm-hmm.
speak, and I had nothing prepared, so I kind of did it off the cuff, got it ready. They did all right. Everything went well. The booster club seems really excited, but now I have pressure that by next month I have to have my fundraiser ready to go. So tomorrow morning ish, depending on how the day goes work wise, I have to get the stuff for the district put together, and then I have to reach out to our vendor and hopefully get that squared away, make sure everything's ready to go. If it works out, we'll get an online store, and I'm going to use our platform, and the fact that I think our shirts are really cool. I don't, Rich. You don't have to buy one. Don't feel any obligations, but I'm gonna put it out to you fans across the country. I let me Before I do that, let me talk to my vendor. Um, Let me talk to my vendor first
Probably a
before
good idea.
before I
Probably a
make
good
that
idea.
deal. I think they were willing to do shipping, but you have to pay for the shipping. And I think they upcharge the shipping a little bit um, for the online store side. I know they're willing to do an online store, and I'm pretty sure they're willing to ship. But I and so that's the update on that side. That's the boring side of it. Competition wise, so let me give you a quick rundown. We are doing Super Smash Brothers. I'm going to do this really quick because Rich, it's late and you have work probably at like dark 30 tomorrow. Excuse me. Okay. So in Smash Brothers, our number one plays their number one. 3 stock, 10 minutes. Whoever comes out with the victory gets 3 points. The guy that lost gets as many points as the guy that as stock as he took from the first guy, and then the second does the same, the third does the same, fourth, fifth. Those guys all are our top 5 go against their top 5 in that type of a battle royale or battle not royale because it's 1v1 each time.
Mm.
and then it's actually about how you did in that match, not how you do overall. So even though like we have lost one, we played 2 weeks. We've had 2 weeks, two matches. We have lost one total game, so one head-to-head match, one head-to-head game, and that was one, and that was a mistake on one of my guys' parts. No big deal. We've corrected it. We've gotten better. We've moved past it. And of that, I think so. There's 10 games in each. Well, there's technically 15 games in each match, but if you only play the first two, because the team that won the first round wins the second round, you don't have to play the third round. So the first two matches, in the first two matches, we played 10 games each, and of that, I think 5 or 6 of them, my guys didn't lose a single life. My team is great. I truly think we are going to state with this, and I think we have a really good chance at winning state. We started doing some strategy work today, and tomorrow and Monday we're going to do some more, and it'll be great. So we've won 2 games. We are also, and I'm going to put this in the show liners. I didn't put it in tonight. We also are streaming on Twitch roughly 4 o'clock on Tuesdays. So if you are available, you can cheer on the Okoboji Pioneers.
All right. So Mike, along with this, it's Super Smash Brothers. So
yeah.
Which character does your number one player play as?
Mario. And Mario's
okay.
not considered a top tier guy, but my guy plays him quite well. But they all, I mean, my guys use a variety of things. Enderman / Steve is one of the guys that gets played from Minecraft.
All right.
And then the humanoid from Pitman's, one of the guys played that today. We have a decent variety of characters, and it's great. Everything from Final Fantasy through Mario through. We may have a Pikachu. I don't think so, but it's great to see. It is very diverse in what the character play is, and we have our third best player plays a D-tiered player or character. King K. Rool, considered a terrible player. This kid plays this guy with a vengeance and has 3 stocked people. It's been amazing. I'm super excited. We're doing great. So,
okay. So as you're scrimmaging with them, who is your go-to character, Mike?
Samus is generally what I do. If I'm playing, one of my guys does play. I have 2 different guys that play Samus. And there is actually a way to do that because you're allowed Samus and Dark Samus. So if I'm playing a Samus, I'll play Dark Samus, and if I'm playing Dark Samus, I'll play Samus. But I'll occasionally. I mean, honestly, I'm not that good. Like I understand fundamentals. That's about it. So I got to work on getting better at combos and stuff like that, and I'm working on it, and I'm getting better.
Good.
I mean,
all right, Mike.
You remember how I was in Mario Kart. You guys, so quick story, Rich and I and his wife and my wife play Mario Kart together semi-regularly. And I was always decent, but I think I don't want to say my skills improved playing Mario Kart last spring. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys still give me some troubles here and there, but for the most part, I've gotten pretty decent. Hopefully that works with Smash 2. So,
gotcha.
Okay. With that, Rich, do you have any shout-outs?
I do. I got
Yeah.
to shout out my father-in-law Ron. So it's his birthday on Saturday.
Oh, happy birthday, Ron. Um, by the way, you know what tomorrow is? And by
What
tomorrow,
is
I
it,
mean
Mike?
in 2 hours from now.
What's that?
It's Bilbo Baggins' birthday, bro. It's
Oh.
also Frodo Baggins' birthday.
I never got into the Lord of the Rings series, Mike. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. I have to nerd out once in a while, and the esports put me in the nerd out mode. So, I got to shout out my father-in-law. We're gonna celebrate his birthday. That was this past Monday. We're gonna head down there. We're gonna head over to Decorah and have some fun with him. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Rich, it's that time of the show. We have no show shout-outs, but if they want to get a show shout-out, how do they do that?
Well, check us out on Facebook, as you can find the Facebook live feed on either Fans of Balls and Sticks or Balls and Sticks.
And
Mike,
if
they're
you
listening-
if you are watching us on Facebook and you want to take us in your car for a 3-hour drive across Iowa, go ahead and look us up wherever you find your podcasts, as we're on all the major platforms. Finally, Rich, they like video, but they don't want to use Facebook. What's the best way for them to find us?
find us on the YouTube.
Yep. And with that, Rich, what's it time to do?
Mike, let's go ahead and roll that outro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.